Good evening. I want to welcome you to this episode of RC Speaks. I'm your humble and gracious host, Raymond Carr. And today we want to get into what I consider a strange ongoing saga with LeBron James. Where, what is this? A few years ago, and just in general now, people say he's considered an activist, a black activist. People comparing him to Muhammad Ali, and people felt bad when somebody sprayed the N word on his gate. But I just find it funny, and I'm gonna get into him as far as on court stuff. But this right here is more off court stuff. I don't understand how, as much as Shannon Sharp, Gil's Arena, and Draymond Green ride for this dude, he never goes on their platform. Never been on their platform. They have episodes. They have plenty of episodes. But he goes to Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey, and then does a show with JJ Redick, talking about Mind the Game, which he's now restarted with Steve Nash. But you never go on Shannon Sharp or none of these guys' platforms, and they ride for you. But if I had to look at what they say, what your fans say you are, what your super fans say, what your fanboys say, I would believe that you were, not really caring about the people as much as these people say. So I'm gonna go over and we're gonna take a listen to this Pat McAfee interview with LeBron. Of course, there's a whole lot of glaze going on, so we're just gonna play it, and I'll just give my take on it.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this LeBron Versation Wednesday, March 26, 2025. This program starts now. Big day! That it is. Obviously, we are incredibly lucky that we get to talk about the sports world every single day. We can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this. It is literally a dream job. And just yesterday, we got a chance to catch up with a dream guest. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that I think a lot of people have been seeking or hoping for a long time. If you host a talk show, having conversation with notable human beings is like a part of the gig. Getting a chance to talk to these greats is a dream part of the gig, to get to learn from the people, to get to kind of meet the people that you know and the people that kind of make the world run in the sports world, kind of drive day to day. We are incredibly lucky that we get to chat with these people, and we take every single opportunity and we try to hold it with the most amount of gratitude and appreciation that could possibly be had, because not everybody just has time to come talk to a bunch of dumbasses. Like, for instance, for LeBron here, he's playing the Pacers tonight, and
LeBron always has time to talk to people who are going to be dumbasses for him.
Get to the arena shortly here, and we'll learn about that in the conversation we had with him.
Unless you're, certain color.
Flew in yesterday after the show ended, drove from the airport to the Thunderdome, which is like our drive, because we're on the opposite side of where the international airport is. So flight from wherever comes in, long time, hops in black SUV, drives an hour around the city to get to where we are.
By the way, I'm only including this part because you'll see where it goes from here. So, but yeah, I just had to include this part just because you can see how big a deal Pat McAfee is making it. So we're about to see.
And then comes in here and spends 2-3 hours and an hour and 15 minutes chit-chatting with us on the show. And I saw a bunch of people say, well, why isn't it live? Why is that? He's in the middle of a basketball season. He's got a game tonight against the Indiana Pacers. And the fact that he took any amount of time out of his life at this stage of everything to come chat with us, incredibly thankful. We covered damn near everything. Mm-hmm. Damn near everything in this chatter. And obviously, we're going to run it just straight through. So it's an hour and about hour and 15 minutes, uncut. There's some pictures that have been put on top of it. But I think this is going to be a convo where you're going to learn more about a man who has been a superstar since he was a kid. Than maybe ever. I don't want to do too much, but I think we learn a lot about this guy. And we're so incredible.
You've already done too much. You've done too much when you started talking with this introduction.
Be thankful. The Talks the Table is here. Bruce Brown sitting in for Boston Connor, who traveled back home with Talk for the rest of the week. Send some love to Connor and Talk for sure. At Ty Schmidt here. Ty, it was a big convo.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, you mentioned it. We've done so many cool things, but for whatever reason, and you didn't even get like he was so comfortable when he got in here, which was so awesome, but like you didn't even have the chance to really be like starstruck. Like, I mean, you said it.
Why was he comfortable? I mean, why wouldn't he be comfortable? Excuse me. But you'll see. We'll see. We'll get to it.
Been watching LeBron since for my entire adult life, since I was like 12 years old. It was incredible. It was by far one of the coolest things we've ever done.
I've seen him on the court, obviously. I've seen him on TV. I've seen him play much taller than
For sure.
He's so tall.
Yeah.
9-year NFL vet, Darius J. Butler is here. He's so tall.
Yeah.
And I think you go watch the games and all the NBA guys are standing next to the guys. You know, and we talk about how big LeBron is. Like LeBron's 6'8", 6'9". This guy's huge. Then he walks in. It's like, oh yeah, he is fucking gigantic. This guy is a tall lad. Also, just like the way he operated was like so cool, like just human, you know. And I thought that was incredibly impressive of him because he's walking into a building he does not know. Into a bunch of people that he's never met before. And he was welcoming and cool with everybody. And it did feel like from moment one, it was like, oh, we're going to have a great convo here.
Great convo, like you said, super comfortable, almost like you were in a locker room or a barbershop, just shooting the shit, more open than I've really seen him on any platform that outside of any platform that he's on. You know, obviously
you haven't seen him on, but unless you saw Travis and Jason Kelsey's podcast, which y'all probably did, but he's not on a whole lot of platforms like that, not unless it's his platform. So, like I said, they just steady glazing, man.
Shop and other things like that. He's mind the game and things like that. That you hear him speak, you know, with no cut. So it was great. So, I mean, I can't wait to rewatch it because having the conversation was one thing, but now being able to rewatch, I'm sure I missed some things. And you mentioned it. We kind of hit on most things that, you know, you would ask if you had a conversation with Bron, and he was pretty open about it. You mentioned he's been, you know, in the spotlight since he was 15, 16 years old, and he's kind of around our age, but he's had to deal with so much before us and be on such a bigger stage. So it's going to be dope to see. I think it'll be dope for the people to see, and I think it'll be a lot of things.
And that's why, because he's been in the spotlight so long, that's why his assessments of life and his surroundings are not the healthiest. Y'all think they are, but they're not. He lives kind of in his own mind.
Things taken from it going forward.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of reaction.
I think that's safe to say.
I think
Yeah.
I think the internet is about to eat because of everything that happens here. Now, before we get to that, couple quick NFL notes. Let's go to one half of the hammer. Down. Cowboys.
Hold on, let me I should hold on, see if I can go a little bit ahead here. Bear with me. The neighbors running around upstairs. Kids, anyway. Let's see.
Obviously, we saw a rebirth of Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh last year. Got to win now. We need a veteran. Biggs takes a trip up.
He trains down in South Florida. He's always been a worker. He's always been a grinder. And Drake May, who was he compared to? May's play. So getting a professional, he can make it work and stay there.
Obviously, as a football player, his decision. Let's assume that conversation. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, sorry about that. I should have checked the time on that. I thought it was a little sooner than that, but my apologies. Here we go. The interview is about to start now. All right.
GOAT. And I would say child stars. Okay. Nobody ever talks about that. Been famous since a teenager. Basketball, obviously. And life as a whole, fucking dominating through and through. Just a kid from Akron. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron James.
Yeah,
LeBron James.
I appreciate it, man. Definitely been seeing you guys up in here, man. So it's great to come here and be in the studio with you guys.
I told you as soon as you pulled up out there, I walked outside. Black SUV pulls up, turns around, your door opens, and literally I go, Holy shit. You're actually here. I thought this was all bullshit. Thank you for taking time and coming and visiting and chatting with us. We're obviously massive fans, dude. I'm 37 years old. Obviously, you're a little bit older than me, but watching you, because I have, because my demo in high school was the one that was watching you dominate. You actually came to Pittsburgh, beat the Pennsylvania All-Stars, which is your high school team. Yeah. And the whole story. So I've followed your entire career. Massive fan of yours. Thank you for doing this.
I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me, man.
Okay,
it's going to be fun.
Let's talk about it. You're 40 years old now.
Yes, sir.
You've been in the league 22 years, longer than you were not in the league. You're in the league.
Right.
And you're playing like you're one of the best seasons you've ever had. Yeah. Why is that, you think? Is it comfort? Is it what is it about this year?
I mean, I think obviously I've been in the game for a while, so I kind of know what to expect. And, obviously, one, you got to take care of your body, but more importantly, you got to take care of your mind. Being a professional athlete, if your mind is not as sharp as possible or as clear as possible, then you're not going to be able to perform at a high level. I think, seeing what our team is capable of doing, even before, the big acquisition of picking up Luka, I thought we had a good chance of making a good run. So I wanted to make sure that I was there, not only physically, but also mentally. And
now, when we say mentally, LeBron, do you mean, are you talking about mental strengthening, or I heard you say you take care of your body, but take care of your mind. Did that include flopping and not playing defense and blaming others and not taking criticism for what you do wrong? Is that how you strengthen your mind? But I digress.
Just give to the season, but I felt pretty good, man, throughout the whole season. I know I had a little small injury that kept me out 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, but I'm back and I feel great.
We watched you do the sprint down the court thing. It was hilarious. Just like 40 years old, doing the same thing you're doing whenever you're 18, 20.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about the Luka trade and we'll talk about the Lakers, but you talked about, having clarity in mind and feeling good going into the season because you knew you could go on a run. There was that say, you spent like $1 million on your body or something.
Man, I don't know where the hell that shit came from.
Okay.
Okay, so now here's the lie. I don't even remember. I've heard this already, but I want to go back over with the listeners out here. There's the first lie. He said, "What's this $1 million a year you spend on your body?" He said, "I don't know where that shit came from." You know where it came from. It came from your people. It came from Rich Paul. That's why Rich Paul going around here now. Been going around here for months talking crazy, saying crazy stuff. We know you got it from. That's why the media reports that. The media just didn't make it up out of thin air. What kind of logic does it make? That came from Rich Paul. That's a clutch thing y'all did. That's a lie.
That's a very fair assessment.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but I mean, listen, man, I do take care of my body, but I have no idea where the amount of money came from. But I do invest in my body for sure. Trying to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Obviously, a lot of soft tissue work, a lot of massages, a lot of hyperbaric chambers, ice tubs, ice baths, whatever I can do to continue to play at this level, man. I'm gonna continue to do what I'm playing.
You've committed your entire.
I mean, the league's softer now. There's nobody in the paint. There's nobody in the paint. And LeBron's normally now the biggest dude in most games. He's the biggest dude on the floor. So, I mean, if you can get up and down the court enough. I mean, I'm sure you got stuff you can use. It might even be legal, but you can take care of your body now and be good now in the league. Nobody in the paint. Man, he's just waltzing down the lane, barreling down the lane with layup. But I'm going to get into that when I talk about what's wrong with the NBA in another video. Because he's a big part of that.
Life, the ball, right? That's safe to say?
Yeah.
And you love the sport. Is that your drive, is how much you love the sport? Or why do you think at this age you're still going as hard as
there's no way I'd be still playing, at this level, Pat, if I wasn't in love with it or didn't commit to it. I've had an opportunity to be able to be blessed with a crazy God-given talent. And a lot of us are to be
crazy God-given size and physical attributes. If you ask me, the talent is like he worked on his game and he was getting better when he was younger. But it's like when he got those championships in Miami, he didn't pay attention to that no more because the league was already softening up. So he already knew he didn't have to improve his skills per se.
completely honest, when you find your niche in sports, there's a lot of people that's born with unbelievable talents, but it's literally the ones that like really commit to their craft and literally commit to the sport in general. Being able to pour yourself into it is what you're going to get out of it too. So I figured, shit, when I knew I had a gift at like 13, 14, that I was out there on the court and I was running past guys and jumping higher and, making passes and doing.
That's what I'm saying. I just said it. He's blessed with physical gifts, physical attributes. Comes easy like that. But I will give you credit. You put some work into it because you kept in shape. So you kept your physical attributes pretty high. So
doing things that the other 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds wasn't doing. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, shit,
this could be it.
This could be it. Yeah. This could be it. And like I'm living in, Section 8 housing. It's me and my mom. We trying to figure it out. And I'm like, oh, shit, if I commit to this, I can figure it out. I can figure it out for not only myself, but for my mom, get out of the inner city and make something out of it. So, big time for sure.
And your friends. You've taken care of everybody. And I think that is one of the things that I love the most. We have Rich on here multiple times. I love Rich. He's been very good to us, but just like the way you take care of your people, the way you've kind of done everything is admirable. It never gets talked about, obviously.
No, I appreciate it.
And the chatter that surrounds you, since you.
One thing I don't like about Rich Paul, I get it being up for your clients or being big up in your guy. But just to go around and lie like he does and make up stuff, you just make up stuff, and the media sit there, eats it up, and talks about it. I said it's cool if you big up your guy, but I just as a man, I can't get how the dude, even if it's my guy, at some point you got to be honest, man, about something in regards to dude, man, because you can't just keep going around making up stuff. I'm surprised they haven't said to LeBron and saved 30 kittens out of a tree. I don't know, but let's see.
Have been a guy since you were 13, and I remember the Hummer story and the shoe deals and everything. And back then, what's going on now with the NIL? I mean, it's completely different.
Right. I mean, I could imagine if NIL was around when I was in high school, I'd have loaded up. I'd have loaded up big time for sure.
Well, I think you already were, which is part of the problem.
Right.
But literally, since that you were a superstar, since you're like a teenager, as soon as you get in the NBA, obviously the chosen one. Here we go. This is it. You're in Cleveland. You immediately start getting compared to like greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And as a person that's in sports, and we are all sports fans, we saw that happen. I assume at the beginning, massive compliment. Is that a massive compliment?
No, it was. I can remember like my first game, when I watched the replay, my first game on national television, it was like, will he be one of the one name guys that ever played this game? It was like, they used like Wilt, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Jordan, all these first name guys.
Shaq.
And then at the end, it was like LeBron. And I'm like, fuck, I'm 17 years old. I was like, what the hell is this? Why you guys are giving me this already? It's like I haven't done anything. And it's like,
well, at least he's being honest about something. But yeah, when he first came out, they was saying, will he be this and all that? And he had just started playing, so he got that right. They did do that.
It was a compliment to be able to be, in the names of those guys, but it was also like super fucking scary and intimidating too. It was like, I'm just a small kid from Akron, Ohio. I don't even know what.
Well, very tall, and at that point, I think you're a little bit more jacked at the time because the game called for it. But whenever you talk about it being a scary situation, you never let that image out publicly. And I think none of us ever saw you being scared. None of us ever saw you kind of flapped at all. You were an unflappable force, and you've been in the public eye for so long. I think you would probably admit that you probably fucked some things up on the way, but you haven't really.
Right.
You're like and I said it earlier, child star, like most people, especially you talk about Section 8 housing, coming from nothing to everything, being in the public eye, at some point that is going to collapse a human.
Yeah, for sure.
For you, it feels like it hasn't. And there's been a lot of things said. There's been a lot of fires that you've been put into, either you walked into yourself or thrown into. Why do you think that is the case? Do you think it's because your mom? Do you think it's because of what?
I mean, obviously, I give her a lot of credit for the way she raised me, the way she taught me, the things that she was able to instill in me. It was also me just looking at her, the way she moved and the way how how determined she was to be able to make my life better, even with the circumstances that we were growing up in. So I give her a lot of credit. I have some little league coaches too that, taught me about not only just, playing the game and teaching me the game of basketball, but also being a young man, throughout my small adolescent years. And then just like, to be completely honest, like I didn't want to fuck my opportunity up. I knew that the statistics for an inner city black kid to be able to be in a position that I was in, especially from my hometown, it never ever happens.
Never.
It never.
Now, that could be very true. He might not have wanted to mess his stuff up. I'm not going to dispute that, but that may have something to do, partially with how some of the way he views things and part of his psyche. So, continue.
Never works out either.
It never happens, and if it does happen, it never works out. It was a. I mean, I want to throw him under the bus, but the only inspiration like we had was like Jerome Lane, the guy who like dunked and shattered the backboard that played for Pittsburgh. He was from Akron, Ohio. Like we saw that and we was like, oh shit, that's an inspiration. And then I went through high school, and all my boys know this too. Like I went through high school and we was playing against the inner.
Hold on.
Hello, beautiful people in
Against the inner city kids because we went to an all Catholic high school. And fucking Jerome Lang was like hating on us. Yep. I was like, oh, this motherfucker. Like he's back in Akron hating on us, like going against us. And I'm like, oh shit, you was like our only inspiration. We like looked up to you. And I was like, you know what? I can't fuck this opportunity up, man. If I get the opportunity to make it, I gotta do what I have to do to put my city on, to represent my last name on my back, man, my family, my friends, and also like it's sport. Sport has given us so much. I mean, I look around here. I mean, fucking baseballs and NFL helmets and basketball jerseys and like
luchador masks.
Like seriously, like a putt thing. Like seriously, like it's given us so much. So like I couldn't mess the opportunity up.
Well, you've done. Hey, I think you figured it out.
Yeah.
You've done good. Now we'll see what's left. Now the conversation is how many years is he going to play? You look like you could probably play forever. Debo has a question for you.
Facts. Kind of on that note, and one of the things people got on you about was when you went to Miami. You made the decision to go to Miami. I know some great things behind that as well. Me, lifelong Miami Heat fan, I loved it. But what was it like coming down there, winning your first championship, and what was that kind of load lifted off your back? 'Cause you talk about being amongst the one-name guys. Championships obviously got to come with that. So what was that like going down there and getting that done? Yeah,
I mean, listen, my aspiration was a lot bigger than just, winning MVPs and, being an all-star and, whatever all the individual things is. Before I even got to the NBA, I've always won. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter which level you win on. If you're in a winning environment, that shit carries on throughout the rest of your life. My first year ever playing organized sports, I won a Little League football championship that year, and then backed it up with a basketball championship. Undefeated season. My second year, we did the same thing, and I was league MVP in basketball and football. Through middle school championships, through high school, I won 3 state championships. I was just always born winner, and I knew how to win because of the culture that I was around. I knew how it was supposed to be done. And at that moment, my 7 years.
And see what I don't like about here, and I know he's going to talk about it more, but what I don't like about here is he said he knows what it takes to win and to get the people around him to win and all that, but he did not do that by joining these other guys. How you going? Because you probably won those little league and junior high school because you're bigger than everybody else. I said that plays a big part with like I said, with your speed and your combination of size and speed. You're gonna be bigger and faster than other kids if you grow up to be 6'8", 6'9". But to say you always know how to win, that's when you're a kid, and you just had that size. But I don't see. It's not consistent. You talking about you was always a winner, and people around you win. I guess your idea of that is to trade players and get coaches fired. So, well, let's see.
In Cleveland, I had some good years. Obviously, some great years. One, was able to take the team to the NBA Finals. I was 22 years old. I had a moment in Detroit where I went insane, 25 straight, 29 out of 30.
Yeah, you went insane when Ben Wallace left. Ben Wallace wasn't on the Pistons at that time. So they were much weaker defensively. Let's keep that in mind.
And took a team that you look back at our roster, you're like, what the hell?
yeah.
How was that even possible?
There's a lot of those.
Yeah.
So you just said, again, dissing teammates. And I wish these dudes from that 07 team would speak out. You just said, if we look at that roster, we're going to take that team to the finals. You're like, how in the hell? Despite the fact that in 07, his teammates played their butts off in 07. And that's what a lot of these LeBron punk fans don't want y'all to know. Because I watched it. They played their butt off. He the one stunk it up. And people say, oh, he was young and all that. That's fine. But don't push your teammates under the bus. Take some of your blame. You can say we, but don't say look at the roster. Come on, man.
We don't want to dive into all of them. You were at the finals like 45 straight years.
You know what I'm
bro.
saying? So but it got to the point that final season, I was like, I've maximized this potential.
Yeah.
I've squeezed all the juice out of this damn lemon here, and I know it. And in order for me to get to where I want to get to, I have to make a choice for my career going forward. And Miami was the best choice. At that moment, I felt like it was the best.
Hey, you talking about you maximized your potential in 7 years. What potential did you maximize? You didn't win a title. Ain't that supposed to be a goal? You just say you're a winner. But ain't winning a title supposed to be a goal? Ain't that how you maximize your potential? Just say you quit, man, and stop making up bull BS. Just stop making up BS, man, because you're lying. Again, there's another lie. I maximize this. No, you quit. You want to go somewhere where winning will be easier. We get it. Just say that.
Best choice for me. The conversation I had with D Wade, had with Bosh, had with Udonis Haslam. D Wade and UD have been there. They had 1-1, had beat Dallas. They had been in some big playoff matchups with Detroit, where Detroit beat them and then they beat Detroit. And things of that nature. And then you look at the big four that Boston had. Everybody talk about the big three, but everybody always decides that for.
Let me explain something to you about the difference between what him and D Wade and Chris Bosh did in Miami as to the Celtics. Celtics drafted Rondo. Okay? They didn't draft him. He wasn't no instant star when he created that. When they got that was Rondo's second season. Second of all, Paul Pierce was drafted there. Like Dwayne Wade was drafted in Miami. But to me, it's not a super team if the team that you go to and form together was orchestrated by management. That's not a super team. Because in order to get in order to get Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett, they gave up a lot of young pieces, including Al Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? The biggest part of that. And you can't forget, you just can't compare the two. I said, when management makes the call, those guys don't have a choice whether to be there or not. They didn't sign there. So no, to me, if a free agents team together, that's a super team, not drafts and trades. And I wish these young some of these young guys now when they speak sports, they too listen to the media. I said, to me, I'm a historian of NBA basketball and basketball in general. I've watched clips of every basketball game you can name. Well, every era you can name, as much as you can see, just to get a glimpse as to what different eras were. And I grew up watching the 80s and 90s up until through the 2000s to now. And I don't understand why these guys want to talk basketball and talk the NBA when you don't even do no homework. You don't even look at the guys playing. When you look at them, you don't look at the basketball. You want to see if somebody can cross somebody up or dunk on somebody or shoot a three. And that's not basketball. And that's what this guy is telling y'all. All this is excuse laden. He copped out of Cleveland and he wanted something easier. This is supposed to be greatness.
some odd reason that Rondo wasn't as great as Rondo was.
Yeah,
it's always just the big three.
He's from Boston.
Not me.
LeBron's
always saying
they say
that.
the big three, but fucking Rondo was
Dog.
when he was a dog. He brought it all. He made it all work with those guys because Ray wasn't bringing the ball up. You had Ray flying around. You know, you had Paul when he get it at a certain spot, and Paul was a killer. And then you had KG was anchoring the defense, and also, you know, you throw it to the low post. But they all started with the mind, and that was with Rondo. So for me to go down to Miami, man, one, it was a terrifying experience for me. You got
And another thing, Rondo's mind matched those veterans. That season, that was Garnett's 13th, Ray Allen's 12th, and Paul Pierce's 10th season. This is Rondo's second year. His mind gelled with their mind is what it was. It didn't start with him. You're talking about guys who've been faces of the franchise, struggling and fighting to get their way to a ring and championship opportunities that they had to wait for and earn. They got fortunate enough to be traded together and earn a championship. They didn't go sign together as free agents. They actually worked to earn it. And you know, if you put some more work you would have put some more work in your career earning titles, LeBron, instead of blaming people and taking the easy route out, you might not even be having no GOAT discussion. You might just be undisputed in that.
to think, I don't know a lot of people know, it's the first time I ever left my hometown. I was 25 years old. You got mad. My first 7 years, even though I played for Cleveland, I still lived in Akron. You know, so for 25 straight years, I was
Awesome house. You had an awesome house. We've seen that. That's a great house.
Yeah, so I'm comfortable. That is my comfort. My comfortability is being in Akron, Ohio. You know, I drive, 30 minutes to Cleveland, play my games, and then I shoot right back down to Akron, and I'm good. So for the first time, it's like I've always used the analogy, like I felt like this was my college moment. I didn't have to go to college, so like going to Miami was my, moment to basically get out the house with my parents. I was going off to college, and I learned a lot, man. And shit, 2 championships, 4 finals appearances.
Now that's believable, but I believe somebody pitched it to him like that. I don't think he came up with that on his own, but he could have. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody pitched that to him for him to be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, that sounds cool. Because he definitely wasn't thinking about the PR part of it. To just go into and just take that, yeah, he didn't think about the PR part at all.
Versus, 2 more MVPs, and things that I can always look back on and say it was a hell of an experience.
And you guys were the Heatles. You guys were selling out everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, while we on that, you mentioned you didn't wait, and I forget which one of them it was, but they told a story about Pat Riley fucking with your cookie.
Yes.
That's a real story? Yeah. Is that a real story?
No, it's a true story. Okay. It's a true story. Now, like, Riles it wasn't like Riles was on the plane and I was about to get my cookies and Riles snatched them out of my hand. You know how stories can become a little bit, they kind of build to Sasquatch at some point. Yep. But it was. I mean, I was, there was a time where everyone knows I love chocolate chip cookies. It's like my my biggest vice.
Is it specific?
No, it was literally the plane that we were getting on, the ladies on the plane were making chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, homemade.
Yeah, so they knew.
Wow, man.
Yeah, so they were making them and bringing them because we had the same ladies all the time. It was a party of 6. They were rotating every time. They knew I loved chocolate chip cookies, so they would get on. And I would,
soft
with a little crispy edge.
Oh,
perfect.
Yeah, perfect. And I would get on, and they already knew. They'd bring me 2 cookies, and I'll get the gambling with the guys, and I got my cookies, and we good. And then one flight I got on, I looked at them, and they looked at me, and I'm like, oh, that look didn't look familiar. And I asked him, I was like, he was like, no, we're not allowed to, no more cookies on these flights.
What?
And we all know where it came from. I looked at D-Wade. D-Wade looked at me. He was like, basically, without even saying, he was like, fucking Riles done it again. Riles strikes again. I was like, damn.
So what was it like down there? Because they talk about the Miami Heat culture and Pat Riley and obviously him just saying no more cookies.
Yeah, they be
it's LeBron's cookies.
He don't give a fuck. One thing about Riles, he don't give a fuck about nothing. Listen, if it ain't about that heat shield and covering that heat culture, he don't. We see what's going on now. Well, not anymore, but we see Jimmy and it was at one point where even I left and it was time for D-Wade to get paid, and He didn't want to pay D Wade, and D Wade left. I was like, oh, when that happened, I was like, when Wade County had to leave and go to Chicago, I looked at the Cookie situation. I was like, oh shit, maybe it wasn't that bad. I was like, okay, okay, fuck it. I mean, D Wade's millions and my cookies. I was like, okay, maybe I made it out safe. I was like, okay, it wasn't that bad.
Let's talk about the cultures.
Here's the thing too about the Cookie. To be fair to him, Orlando lost out on a chance to sign Tim Duncan back in 2000 because he wanted the family on the team playing. And this is similar when you got star players. They might want a perk or something to sign with you. So I can dig why he would be some kind of way about his Cookies because he got his little routine he do. So, but now you're right. Pat Riley don't play that. But when Tim Duncan wanted, he would have signed with Orlando if they would have let family be on the team playing. And Doc Rivers said, "No, we don't do family on the team playing," and that was the deciding factor for Tim Duncan to stay in San Antonio instead of coming to Orlando. So Doc Rivers leaves a lot to be desired just for that alone.
Cleveland, you talk about at the beginning of your career, making, feeling like you had to go to Miami. You obviously do that. You go back to Cleveland, win one. Hey,
man.
For hometown. That parade was bananas.
Yes, sir.
And then obviously out at LA, what is it about JJ Redick's culture that you have felt, experienced, and obviously a couple games have not won, but fourth in the West still on a playoff push. What is it about JJ Redick and his culture, or what you guys have right now that you like?
I just want to hear this because I don't remember what he said to it. That's what I'm going back over it with y'all. Pat McAfee is really, these questions are, y'all are really, and I'm not saying y'all got to grill the man or nothing like that, but what is the culture like there with JJ and what has he made it feel like out there in LA that it's different than the championship vocal one, even though it's a bubble. And we also have Darvin Ham, Western Conference Finals, and he's gone. And oh crap, we'll just go with JJ. What is JJ done?
I think the best thing about JJ is that he's just a great podcaster.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. We learned a lot, brother. You guys were talking about like when fucking doubles here, then we round here, then we go under.
Yeah. You just come out the blue and talk to JJ. Yeah, he's a great podcast. And that's smart on your part because JJ got a lot of following already to do his podcast. So for y'all to do one together, I mean, it's smart. But my point is, I thought you was, quote unquote, down for your people. I'm a black activist. That's all.
JJ, he's just a podcaster that, for some odd reason, became a head coach and all because of me. It's just the weirdest thing in the world, and those conversations have died down. But no, I think one thing about JJ, man, he bleeds the game and he breathes the game of basketball every single day. He's one of those guys that it's kind of just like me. Like if we lose a game or we didn't play up to par, there's no such thing as sleeping that night. There's no such thing of sleeping into the next match, into the next game. And he's just determined to
you can tell JJ's intensity just with his when he's on ESPN or when he was on his own podcast. So that doesn't surprise me that he really loves the game, but this is a hell of an opportunity he got. But
he's a dickhead.
Yeah, gotta be.
And I love it. And when I was a kid, I used to watch Duke. Now I realize it. I hated Duke when I was growing up. And then when I got a little older and I started playing with Coach, I started matching up with Coach K. We played with I played with him for Team USA. And then I was like, okay, I see why he's great. I see why I hated JJ Redick. I see why I hated Shane Battier. And then Shane came over to us in Miami and helped us win a championship. I was like, I see it. Yep. He's like a great.
Interesting you bring up Shane Battier, a winner.
Greatest guys / dickheads that you ever meet.
Is that all from Coach K? You think JJ has a lot of Coach K in?
Absolutely. He's just he's meant for it. And there's just some things that can't be explained, but when you got the it factor, it's just like, oh yeah,
Does he still shoot ever? Does he ever still let it up?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. He'll let us know for sure.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about a guy who made a shot the other day in warm-ups that was, I don't know how, it defied physics, I think. Luka, he did the shot up over.
From the complete opposite.
Yeah, and then I don't know how that works, actually. Like science, I don't know how. But then he'll do one off the fucking Jumbotron. Yeah, here it is right here. Here it is right here. You've seen this, obviously, I assume.
Yeah,
yes.
I've seen
He probably does this type of stuff every single day. What has it been like being his teammate? And I think it was the first game. There was, you guys were calling it up or whatever, and you looked at Luka, and it was a big deal because you said, you don't change a damn thing. We'll change for you, actually, is what you said. And then broke it down. I think it was a big deal for people to hear you say, but also obviously Luka as well. What has it been like, and why do you guys have such good chemistry?
I mean, his name is Luka Magic for a reason. And you see that. You see his play on the game. He's a very transcendent player. And if you talk about that moment,
sports media to me now is killer because social media too as well, that you give, and I'm gonna go with this about what's wrong with the NBA too, but you give the Lakers and this guy another superstar player to play with. Right? They both are ball dominant. They both don't play defense. You talking about we'll blend in with you. No, you don't mean that. You just ain't got no choice. But you really don't mean that. I don't know how many guys this brother has to play with, man, but he's played with some way more stars than even superstars than anybody else I've ever seen. As far as just joining up with them already made. Not drafted, they all drafted together. Joining up or getting people, that's still a stupid trade to me. Luka for Anthony Davis. I still won't ever understand that. But we'll talk about that in another video.
You got to think. I can't put myself in his shoes because I've never been traded before, but I can have a sense and be a human being to know you commit to a franchise for 7 years and you feel like, this is the place where I'm gonna be. This is my comfort. I talk about my comfort before I went to Miami, and then out of nowhere, bam, you just get traded. I don't give a damn where you're going. It doesn't matter who you're pairing with. That's a shock to your system. Oh, yeah. It's a shock to your system. And even though he was ready to play, that moment I feel like that had to be said because he is still that guy. Mm-hmm. In order for us to reach our potential, he has to be that guy. He has to fit out, and we'll figure it out. Let us figure it out with you. Because we need you to be who you are. But it's definitely. I lost a dear friend and a great friend and a champion, duo with AD, miss him to death.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you had no knowledge, like you said before, you had no knowledge that this was going on. Like they would make a move like this without you knowing. And again, Adam Silver, thanks for keeping the focus on one franchise in a league full of franchises. Y'all stay keeping the Lakers hype. Y'all stay keeping them hype. Because all this year, ever since LeBron been in LA, and even this year, and now with Luka too, y'all don't talk about Boston, who won the title last year. Y'all don't talk about Denver when they won. Y'all just keep talking about the Lakers. We get it. LeBron's going to make up enough crap to keep the news cycle going. Totally get it. I get it. But it's getting old. Well, it's been old.
And but we was able to gain Luka Magic, and I think both sides will.
A lot of people thought you two wouldn't be able to work together because ball dominant, LeBron James too much of a prima donna.
Yeah, that's right.
Not going to let Luka come in and do the Luka shit.
And
they won't be able.
Pat, that was a fair assessment for people to think that because we're watching them. But you're asking the questions in a very nice way that doesn't make him feel uncomfortable, which is what he loves.
To figure it out.
Yeah, it must be the idiots that don't know the game of basketball. Oh my goodness, there's so many of those guys out there right now.
I would say your league, you, and your league has the most absurd chatter.
Oh my goodness,
it really does.
It is every single day, and then you realize you was like, I'll be looking at it and I hear it, and I'm like, those guys a lot of those guys that played the game or did not play the game, it was just they played the game while they were talented. I don't think they ever thought the game. Mm-hmm. I don't think they were ever smart. I just think they were bigger and stronger and maybe faster at the time.
Here's the thing, though. So it's funny that you said that. You don't think the game, sir. And you were bigger and stronger and faster than most of the people, 99.9% of the people you play against. You don't think the game, LeBron. You just had the ball in your hands. You learned how to play with the ball and you learn how to play with the ball in your hand all the time, and they let you do what you want to do. You don't think the game. You just seen enough. When you have the ball in your hands, and you can see, you might be able to see what the defense is doing, but that just comes from repeating it so much. But you don't think the game. You don't turn the ball over as much as you do thinking the game. You're just out there just doing anything. You don't run plays. No, you're not thinking the game, sir. I haven't seen you ever think the game. It all looks physical. And it's all you with the ball in your hand. But yeah, you talking about others with bigger, faster, and stronger? You talking about they don't think the game? That's you. You're talking about yourself.
Man, they dominated, and when it was over, it was over. They don't. That's why I'm able to still play at fucking 40 years old.
And you're still bigger and stronger and faster than most of these guys in the league because you take care of your body, so to speak. But that's the only reason. You don't have to think in this league now. Just run up and down the court. It got rid of all the big men, so just run up and down the court. It's not thinking the game.
Well, that's what everybody talks about.
Yeah, my mind is just like I can play the game because I can outthink the guys out there. And as my athleticism has went down a notch, not a lot, but a notch.
Slow. Don't you a little fat too?
As my athleticism has went down a notch, like I'm able to still bring up other facets of my game to be able to still, do what I need to do every single night.
Like what? What else did you bring up the snuff with your athleticism waning just a bit, as you said, just a little bit, as you say? What did you improve on? Wasn't free throw shooting. Wasn't a post game. Wasn't mid range. What did you do? So I was you still dribbling down the court with you. Whatever your off arm is, you push off with it. You didn't even learn how to dribble for real. So.
But the talking heads of our sport, oh my goodness.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Especially for you. I mean, you're in a much different situation than maybe any other human in history of sports, if I had to guess. And like I said, at the beginning, it's a compliment, though. Like, they're immediately telling this teenager that we need to talk about him as if he is Michael Jordan, who obviously transcended the sport, changed the sport forever, and everything like that. But then it gets to the point where it's like, hey, this is a real conversation, and it almost immediately becomes divisive. Do you? So this is an interesting concept here. You probably lost a lot of trust in media, I would assume, because of the things that happened. Not just what was said on TV, but what it led other people to probably think they should say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it all started with the decision. The decision really had me sit back and because people literally I give a moment. So the decision, it was brought to me to be able to.
Here's what I'm gonna do, guys. I'm gonna go to the rest of this interview. I'm gonna do a part 2 for the rest of this interview. We'll stop here at the halfway point, but he's talking about the decision, and we're gonna see what he says about that on our part 2. But check me out, guys. Check me out. Like this video. Holler at your boy, subscribe, and we'll get to part 2 tomorrow.